Sir, let's kick off first with the current and most pressing issues in terms of supply chain shortage. We all know that this is, the issue that has been there, but also exacerbated by the Russia-Ukraine war. Is this something that you see as temporary or persistent?
Well, I don't think this is a short-term problem, but I think there's a lot of things we can do to mitigate the effects of that problem. We can go more into local purchasing. We can encourage our farmers to produce what we need. We can encourage our restaurant owners to develop new menu items that would take advantage of available produce or commodities. So there are ways we can adapt. Have we gone through the worst? Well, COVID, I thought, was the worst already. So after 2 years, the restaurant is on a recovery path. This is just one of many crises that we have to overcome, I guess.
Okay, sir, how are restaurants currently sourcing? Have they been agile enough to switch to local and maintain the profit margins, maintain the quality that they are producing or giving to the customers?
There are less restaurants than before, but we have new restaurants coming out. So the supply of restaurant food is getting back to pre-2019 or pre-pandemic levels. So that allows us some runway to build back our business with more customer base. However, with regards to food availability, even if it's available, the cost would inevitably be higher due to high fuel costs today, and as you said, due to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. And we have to constantly look for alternatives. We have to look for backup plans. We cannot rely on the old ways because we really don't know how long this conflict will last. And I understand from my limited understanding of the situation, the effects of that conflict will be felt many years to come, still to be felt for the coming years. So we really have to look at the long-term picture and try to find solutions to mitigate these problems now.
Now, earlier, Sir Eric, you were proposing the idea at least of sourcing locally. Why is that not the case to begin with? I mean, has it been at least a more expensive option here, especially for local restaurants?
In my case, I'm a sushi restaurant operator. I can't put bangus on a sushi. It's not the same kind of fish. We've tried to talk to our fisher folks and ask if we can get them to produce different kinds of fish, farm different kinds of species. But so far, we only have sustainable quantities of bangus, tilapia. So we have to import what we don't have. However, there are certain things that we can do. We add a few more locally sourced items to our menu and create new dishes so that we can have a balance of giving customers what they want or what they used to, but still creating more alternative for them to try.
Sir, but it's also not just an issue of importing, but even the local agriculture sector has issues with supplying crops just because of the fertilizer issue as well. So how can we mitigate that? You want to source locally, but even our local produce is not enough.
From my understanding, it's the problem of the 3 Cs. The conflict in Ukraine is causing problems with fertilizer supply. There's climate change that is affecting our ability to produce more food. And of course, we're reeling from COVID-19. So it's not just about availability, but also affordability. And you're talking about predictability and sustainability of the supplies we're used to, which right now is causing a lot of anxiety in our sector. So we can do a lot more by encouraging more private sector and government partnership and working with our farmers, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach out to the farmers and buy direct from them so that they don't throw away their produce. Interestingly, vegetable prices in China went up by 24%. And yet in Benguet, 2 days ago, people were calling me that they're about to throw away carrots because nobody was buying. So there's a gap in supply, and we have the supply, but sometimes it's just not getting to the market at the right time. Fuel cost is also a problem. Getting those products to market would cost more now. But I think imported products would also not be as viable as before because of the same fuel cost increase and because of the shipping crisis. So even if I order something from abroad and it's available, it's not going to get to me in the same time frame as I was used to before.
How much of this also, Eric, is demand driven, considering that more and more economies, not just here locally, of course, are reopening?
Demand has certainly improved. I think what we were talking about before, revenge dining, it's been going on for the last 4 months, 3-4 months. And it's because we have a substantial population who's been vaccinated. And that gives us more freedom to resume our lives, our way of life again. So demand certainly has gone up. And it's the wrong timing when we're having a problem with supply, but we have to get creative. Some restaurants are reducing portions, some are offering alternatives, some have to remove certain items from the menu. And one of the options that we have to face is also we have to increase our prices, but that can drive down sales as well. So it's a balance of so many new things, and that balance point shifts every day.
Okay, and ultimately, Eric, how do you see this affecting the revenue and the performance of the restaurant sector for the remainder of the year? I mean, are you also at least considering the possibility that people might actually be spending less to eat out?
To what
and to
extent
deliver?
are consumers willing to have the prices passed on, given the revenge eating out nga?
I've heard from my friends who are in the steak business that their costs have doubled, but they raised their prices by 20% and the customers are already angry. So I think they're going to look for new items to serve that can be acceptable to the market. With sales drop, I hope not. We're playing it, we're taking it 1 week at a time. But a few days ago, we had a discussion with some of our members, and we are encouraging our members to look for alternative sources of materials for their products. So hopefully, when the need arises, really, when these kind of crises can lead to other opportunities kasi. So even if you cannot find certain products, you might be able to find how to produce more of these products to fill the gap. Yeah, we always believe that these problems are just an opportunities, that can be had with a proper mindset.